Graders, today our lesson is units of temperature. If you want to follow along in your textbook, all right, we're doing lesson 12.6 and units of temperature is on page 537 in your math book. All right, so we're going to talk about Fahrenheit scale today and a Celsius, all right, and being able to choose the appropriate temperatures in both of those. So we're going to talk about degrees, we're going to talk about Celsius, which is abbreviated. This little circle right here, that means degrees, and then the C stands for the Celsius units of measurement, and then Fahrenheit, and that is again degrees, and the capital F is represents Fahrenheit. Our first example here says, which thermometer shows a more reasonable temperature for a swimming pool that is comfortable to swim in? All right, now, we all know our temperature, our normal body temperature is approximately 98.6 degrees. All right, so I don't know about you, but I know what I would rather swim in. All right, a pool that's 80 degrees or a pool that is 60 degrees?
80.
Definitely. All right, definitely, since our body temperature is approximately 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, 80 degrees Fahrenheit would still be warm to the touch and be comfortable to swim in. 60 degrees Fahrenheit, that's a lot less than your body temperature, and that would be a lot colder to swim in. I don't think I'd like that. All right, so the more reasonable answer would be 80 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, so here we've got two different thermometers. We've got thermometer A and thermometer B. They want to know which thermometer shows a more reasonable temperature for a freezer when making ice cubes. Now, when we are talking about Fahrenheit, what temperature does something freeze at?
32 degrees.
32 degrees Fahrenheit. So let's take a look at our thermometers. Thermometer A says 20 degrees Fahrenheit, and thermometer B says 40 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, so which one would be better if we want to make ice cubes?
A.
Thermometer A. This one's too warm. If this one's at 40 degrees, all right, it's not going to freeze. All right, think of in your refrigerator, all right, on my refrigerator on the outside it has what the freezer is set at, which is usually 0 degrees, and then what the refrigerator is set at, and it says 37 or 38 degrees. Those would be in Celsius. All right, so if we're comparing like Fahrenheit to Celsius, 0 degrees Celsius is equivalent to 32 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, so, all right, nothing's going to freeze at 40 degrees. It's just going to be very cold. All right, if we want it to freeze like the ice cubes, we're going to have to go with the 20 degrees Fahrenheit, thermometer A. All right, in this thermometer here, this is in Celsius, all right, and they want to know what is the more reasonable temperature for a spring day. 20 degrees Celsius or 40 degrees Celsius. They've got a couple of key points on here. The first one is 100 degrees Celsius. That's what water boils at. That would be equivalent to 212 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, the other one, we talked about that a few minutes ago. Your normal body temperature is 98.6 degrees, all right, and that is equivalent to about 37 degrees Celsius. All right, and then the other one is water freezing, and that would be at 0 degrees Celsius or 32 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, so now, all right.
Could even write those amounts in, just as
that is true. Let's write those in there. All right, so 0 degrees Celsius, that's going to be 32 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, 37 degrees Celsius, that's approximately 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. And 100 degrees Celsius is 212 degrees Fahrenheit. So now let's go back and look at the question. They want to know a nice spring day. All right, I think yesterday or today is the first day of spring. Welcome spring. We're glad it's here. So let's look at these, kind of where they would go on the chart. All right, 20 degrees Celsius or 40 degrees Celsius. Would that be more reasonable? Now we're talking about a spring day versus a summer day.
Probably 40.
Let's take a peek. All right, so 20 degrees Celsius is close to about 70 degrees, which is a warm day outside, whereas 40 degrees Celsius is close to about 105, which would be very, very hot outside.
Okay, I
So
wasn't looking.
the more reasonable temperature for a spring day would be about 20 degrees Celsius. All right, so now we're going to do water temperature. Which one of these, all right, they're all in Celsius. Remember we said 0 degree, what happens at 0 degrees Celsius?
Water freezes.
Water freezes. So is that going to be hot water?
No.
No. So which one of these would be the most reasonable temperature for hot water?
85.
All right, again, we said in that last temperature that 100 degrees Celsius is when water does what?
Boils.
Water boils at 100 degrees. So if we want hot water, all right, 85 degrees Celsius would be a good, reasonable temperature. Now, sometimes we can figure out how our temperature changes, all right, how it goes up or how it goes down. In this example, it says in early summer, a swimming pool had a temperature of 24 degrees Celsius. By the end of the summer, the temperature was 39 degrees Celsius. Find the change in temperature and use an integer to represent the change. All right, how are we going to do this? What are we going to do with those two numbers to find the change?
Subtract.
We are going to subtract them. Which number goes on top?
The larger, 39.
The larger number goes on top, and the smaller number goes on the bottom. And so 9 minus 4 is
5.
and 3 minus 2 is 1. All right, so now we started at 24 and we went up to 39. Did our temperature increase or did our temperature decrease?
Increase.
Okay, our temperature increased. All right, it increased by 15 degrees. Now, when they are asking us to write an integer, they either want us to say, was it a positive increase or a negative increase? Because it increased, is it going to be positive or is it going to be negative?
Positive.
It's going to be positive. So as an integer, we would write that as plus 15. All right, the temperature went up plus 15 degrees. All right, so they're telling us to find the change in temperature, take the higher temperature, subtract the lower temperature, all right, and then just as we did, they got 15 degrees, and the temperature, since it increased by 15, we would use an integer as plus 15 to represent that change, because it went up. All right, you do this one. Yesterday the temperature was 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Today the temperature is 79 degrees Fahrenheit. Find the change in temperature and use an integer to represent the change. What do we do with those two numbers?
Subtract.
Subtract them. Again, write the larger number on top, that's 79. All right, write the smaller number on the bottom. How much is 9 minus 8?
1.
How much is 7 minus 6? 1. So how much did the temperature change?
11 degrees.
11 degrees. Yesterday it was 68, today it's 79. Did the temperature go up or did the temperature go down?
It went
Up.
up.
It went up. Because it went up, that means it increased. Do we write that as a positive 11 or a negative 11?
Positive.
Because it went up, it is written as a positive 11. All right, and you can see in answer letter A, there's the difference in temperature, 11 degrees, and we said it went up, so we would signify that as a plus 11. Excellent. That's our lesson for today on units of temperature. All right, and there are IXL links also, and there are several workbook pages, worksheets, if you would like to get some extra practice on those. And then once you're done with that, we would like you to do the IXL link that goes along with it. We hope this finds everybody doing well, and we hope to see you guys soon. We miss you.